Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
When I just came home from work, my babies was stuck in the stove dead, and I just came home from work. My
Wait, man.
cousin was babysitting my kids and left my kids dead in my house. Ain't no telling how long they've been in this house.
At around 11:30 p.m. on Friday, October 13th, 2017, a distressed call was made by 24-year-old Lamora Williams. She reported a heartbreaking scene involving her two youngest children. Lamora, a single mother of four, had been navigating the daily challenges of caring for her little ones. According to her account, she had asked a cousin to watch her three youngest children for several hours while she was at work. But when she returned home, something felt off. The apartment door was ajar, gently swaying as if someone had left in a hurry. Inside, her oldest son was in tears in the living room, and there was an unusual, unsettling smell in the air. Fearing that something had caught fire, Lamora rushed into the kitchen. What she found was devastating. Her two youngest children had passed away, and the situation pointed to something deeply tragic involving the stove.
Atlanta 911, operator 7054. What's the address of your name?
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, I have a question, and this is a serious matter. I just left my cousin in the house with my kids. She just left my kids in the house when I came back from work, and my kids, two of my kids are dead. What do I gotta do? They dead. She left them dead in the house by themselves.
Oh, okay, ma'am. Where are you now?
I'm in my house. She left my door open. My baby boy, my oldest baby boy, is the only one that's here, only one that's alive. She left them in the house by themselves. She left them in here, and they knocked the stove on. Can you listen? When I came in, the stove was laying on my youngest son's head, and my other son was laid out on the floor with his brains laid out on the floor. I don't know what to do. I just came home to work from this, and she just left my baby there.
Okay, ma'am, I'm gonna get EMS and I'm gonna get police and fire at the location. Can you tell me where you're located?
The operator quickly dispatched the police, firefighters, and paramedics to the scene. Lamora was too frightened. She couldn't keep her mind straight.
Okay, hold on one moment, because I'm going to also get EMS on the line as well, okay?
Yes,
Hold on one moment. Yes, ma'am. Stay on the line with me, though. Hold on one moment for me.
Okay.
Okay, tell me exactly what happened.
When I just came home from work, my babies was stuck in the stove dead, and I just came home from work. My cousin was babysitting my kids and left my kids dead in my house. Ain't no telling how long they've been in this house.
All right, wait. So is your son, is he obviously dead? Is he breathing at all? Can you tell me
he's dead. He's burnt. Both of my children are dead. Their head is burnt. Their skull is laying on this floor. The stove is, one of my babies is stuck. The stove is pulled over and everything.
All right, Elena, can we get PD started to this location? I'm operator 839.
Yes, we have PD and fire already en route to that location.
All right, thank you so much.
Please hurry up, please.
All right, ma'am. I'm en route, okay? We're en route.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
Just minutes later, another distressed 911 call was placed. But this time, it wasn't from Lamora. The call was brief but powerful, sending shockwaves to the entire investigation. Who was this mystery caller? Where was Lamora's cousin, the one who was supposed to watch the children? Stay tuned as we unravel these chilling details, and don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you never miss an update on our latest videos. Let's dive back into the story. When police and emergency responders arrived at Lamora Williams's apartment, they found her standing by the doorway, visibly shaken and distressed. A strong, unsettling odor filled the air, hinting that something was terribly wrong. Inside the kitchen, they were met with a deeply tragic scene. Two young children, 2-year-old Jakarta Williams and 1-year-old Kayonte Penn, were found unresponsive. It was immediately clear that they had suffered greatly before their passing. Authorities noticed marks that raised serious concerns, prompting them to question whether this was a tragic mishap or if something more troubling had occurred. Investigators began speaking with neighbors and family members to piece together the events that led to this heartbreaking discovery. The children's remains were respectfully transferred to the coroner's office for examination. What the autopsy revealed added another layer of sorrow and disbelief to the case. Both boys had been exposed to high levels of heat for an extended period of time, with signs pointing to the oven as the source. The coroner's report described the effects of prolonged heat exposure, noting that it would have taken a significant amount of time to reach such a state. However, no signs of external injuries such as fractures or broken bones were found, and the exact cause of death remained inconclusive. Lamora, distraught, pleaded with officers to locate her cousin, hoping for answers. But before any search could begin, Jamil Penn Sr., the children's father, arrived on the scene. Shockingly, he already knew what had happened, because just moments after Lamora's call, he had contacted 911 himself. He had seen it all before stepping foot in the apartment. At around 11:40 p.m., on Friday, October 13th, 2017, Jamil Penn Sr. frantically called 911, claiming to be parent of the two dead boys in his ex-partner's home.
Hey, I just received a call from my child's mother that two of my youngest two dead babies, my sons, are dead in an apartment.
Okay, there's a lot of background noise. There what in an apartment, sir?
I just received a call that two of my kids are dead inside of an apartment.
Jamil had just received a deeply disturbing video call from Lamora. During the call, she turned the camera to reveal an unthinkable scene involving their children. Overwhelmed with shock and heartbreak, Jamil's voice trembled as he called 911 to report what he had witnessed.
Okay, did she call 911? What's the address?
No, she didn't call 911. She called me and she video called me and showed me this, and I seen it.
What's the address?
And I really think they are really dead.
What's your name, sir?
My name is Jamil Penn.
Okay.
Jamil prayed God this was a prank.
I want to know if they actually dead. Please give me a call. Please give me a call back as soon as possible.
Okay, we'll get a unit out there to check it out, okay?
I'm sorry?
We'll get an officer out there to check it out, okay?
All right.
All right.
Authorities were aware of the 911 calls made by both Lamora and Jamil Penn Sr., but the situation remained unclear. Outside the apartment, a small crowd of concerned neighbors had started to gather. Several shared that Lamora often had to leave her children unattended due to work commitments and that they hadn't seen a consistent caregiver around in recent weeks. As investigators looked further into the case, questions began to arise about Lamora's own actions. It was later revealed that in her 911 call, she had asked whether she could be held responsible for what had happened to her children.
I can't even talk. This is so serious. I'm so scared. I don't want to get locked up because I was at work.
Okay, ma'am.
I
understand that you're scared. I completely understand, but I need to get some help out there to you now. Can you tell me where you're located?
I understand it, but can you please help me? Like, can you please tell me, like, I don't want to get locked up because this is not my fault. I had just came home from work. Came home from work.
Yes, ma'am.
I just came home from work.
Okay. Ma'am, the first thing that I need to do is get some help out there to you. I understand that you're upset and you're scared.
They in here dead. Like, it's no way in the fuck. She left my baby dead.
Okay.
And I don't have no way to reach her.
If you're not sure, if you were at work, ma'am, listen to me. If you were at work while this happened, then the responsibility is going to fall on your sister if that's who you left them with. Okay?
During the 911 call, Lamora appeared more focused on whether she would face legal consequences than on sharing critical information to assist emergency responders. She did not provide her name, her children's names, or her exact address throughout the call, details that are typically vital in such situations. As the investigation progressed, more unsettling details came to light. Neighbors reported noticing an unusual and unpleasant smell coming from Lamora's apartment days before the call was made. This raised serious concerns about the timeline of events and cast doubt on the statement that the children had only just been found. Even more heartbreaking was the account from Lamora's surviving 3-year-old son, Jamil Penn Jr. Authorities believe he may have witnessed what happened to his siblings. According to both investigators and his father, the young boy repeatedly said, "Mommy hurt my brothers." A deeply disturbing statement that added another layer of tragedy to an already devastating case.
You know, like I said, he knows what happened. He was there. You know what I'm saying? And I try to get it far off his mind as possible, because he talks about it, if not every day, every hour on the hour, about his brother.
In the early hours of Saturday, October 14, 2017, investigators arrested Lamora Williams on suspicion of murdering her 2 youngest sons.
It alleges 24-year-old Lamora Williams knowingly put her 2 boys inside of the oven at her apartment and then churned it on sometime between 12 a.m. this past Thursday and 11 p.m. this past Friday, nearly a 48-hour window. Somewhere in there, investigators believe she carried out that act of putting her boys inside of the oven. And a glimpse into her apartment, where police spent several hours investigating, and neighbors told us they witnessed officers remove an oven from.
Investigators later removed the stove from Lamora Williams' apartment, hoping it might provide essential evidence to help clarify how the tragedy occurred, as the coroner's report had not reached a definitive conclusion. Yet, even with the investigation underway, one haunting question remained. What could possibly push a mother to the edge of such a devastating outcome? Lamora Williams, born in 1983, grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, with her parents and older sister. Family and friends often referred to her by the nickname Red. According to those closest to her, Lamora had faced emotional and psychological challenges from a young age, possibly even since childhood. These concerns were also echoed by her former partner, Jamil Penn Sr., suggesting that she may have struggled silently for years.
Know her mother and her father very well, so, you know, they always told me that she had, you know, mental illness, you know, when she was younger, since birth.
Lamora Williams' mother, Brenda, recalled moments from Lamora's early years that raised concerns about her emotional well-being. Fearing that traditional schooling might not be the right environment for her daughter, Brenda made the decision to homeschool Lamora. She was a slow learner, Brenda shared. I had to take her out of school and teach her at home. She would sometimes do unsettling things like damaging her sister's belongings or even her toys in disturbing ways. It felt like something out of a movie. I was worried, even back then. Lamora's sister, Tabitha, supported Brenda's account. She explained that despite their mother's continuous efforts to seek help, the system provided little assistance. Teachers knew something was off, but when my mom asked for support, the state didn't take action. We felt completely let down. The whole system failed us. At the age of 18, Lamora became a mother for the first time to a daughter, London Williams. Although her relationship with London's father didn't last, the two maintained a respectful co-parenting dynamic, supported by his extended family. Later, Lamora met Jamil Penn Sr. Their connection was strong, and she appeared vibrant and full of life. According to Jamil, there were no clear signs of Lamora's internal battles early on. I was the one with the short temper, he recalled. Lamora was calm, sweet, and always laughing. They had their first child together, Jamil Penn Jr., and moved in with Lamora's parents while working toward financial stability and independence.
She's really mentally ill until the death of her father in 2014. 2014, I found.
On April 20th, 2014, tragedy struck Lamora Williams' family when her father was found unresponsive at home. Reports indicated he had suffered a heart attack the night before. Lamora, who had always leaned on her father for support and stability, was devastated by the loss. His passing marked the beginning of a deep emotional decline. Struggling to cope, Lamora faced motherhood with growing difficulty. Encouraged by her partner, Jamil Penn Sr., she went on to have 2 more children, Jakarta Williams and Kayonte Penn. Jamil had hoped that a growing family would help Lamora heal, but instead of relief, the responsibilities of parenting 3 small children intensified her struggles, particularly with postpartum depression. Despite her visible distress, the family moved into an apartment in Oakland City, Atlanta, separating Lamora from her support system. Brenda, Lamora's mother, noticed her daughter's condition worsening and pleaded with Jamil to reconsider the move. However, within a year, the strain overwhelmed their relationship, and Jamil left. Though he remained actively involved in his sons' lives, visiting often and offering financial support, Lamora was largely left to navigate her mental health challenges alone. Brenda grew increasingly concerned. She reached out to Child Protective Services multiple times, fearing for her grandchildren's safety. "I wanted the state to either give me custody or step in to help," Brenda said. "There were times I thought Lamora wasn't even feeding the kids." She also contacted Jamil, warning that Lamora was in serious distress. Brenda's pleas extended to the Division of Family and Children Services, DFCS, reporting that the children were possibly being neglected, but she says her concerns weren't taken seriously. DFCS later claimed they had no documented contact about Lamora's mental health or the well-being of her children before the incident. Her sister, Tabitha, shared that Lamora had become increasingly withdrawn. She stopped answering the phone, wouldn't open the door. She didn't want our help. According to Lamora's closest friend, she had quit her job in September 2017, saying she couldn't manage the pressure anymore. A month later, the unimaginable happened. On Saturday, October 21st, 2017, a week after the heartbreaking discovery, Lamora's 2 sons were laid to rest at Southview Cemetery, a historic Atlanta burial ground. Their funeral, held at West Hunter Street Baptist Church, brought together grieving family members and supportive community figures, including a great-nephew of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who delivered a heartfelt eulogy. The boys' caskets were adorned with their favorite superhero images. Jamil Sr., holding his surviving child in his arms, followed the white horses that carried his sons away. But while one part of the family grieved, another sat behind bars. Lamora awaited trial in the Fulton County Jail, held without bond. Jamil tried calling her, hoping for answers, but he was met with cold, emotionless responses. "She showed no remorse," he said. "It was heartbreaking." Based on statements from relatives and forensic analysis, investigators began piecing together the events. While the exact cause of death wasn't fully determined, signs pointed to neglect and injury. Law enforcement believed the situation escalated over time, culminating in tragedy. Detectives theorized that Lamora's long-standing struggles with depression, isolation, and pressure reached a breaking point. According to reports, she had left the children unattended for extended periods. By September 2017, quitting her job seemed to mark her final step into isolation. After the incident, instead of immediately calling emergency services, Lamora phoned her best friend, Nisa Smith, saying she was considering self-harm. When Nisa asked for the truth, Lamora admitted the boys had passed. Though Nisa urged her to call 911, Lamora called Jamil instead. "She screamed, 'They're gone,'" Jamil recalled. He asked who. She switched to video call, and he saw the heartbreaking scene. Lamora eventually contacted emergency services, but investigators noted discrepancies in her story. She blamed an unnamed cousin, then her own sister, claims authorities later found no evidence to support. "We interviewed everyone mentioned," said Sergeant John Chafee of the Atlanta Police. No one else had been watching the children. She was the only adult present. On February 2, 2018, a grand jury indicted Lamora Williams on multiple charges: murder, making false statements, aggravated assault, concealing a death, and cruelty to children. Notably, it was confirmed that Lamora and her youngest son were present at the time of the other children's deaths. Worried about Lamora's mental state, Brenda tried to visit her daughter in jail but was denied. She asked authorities to place Lamora under constant watch, fearing she might harm herself. Now, with the legal process underway, prosecutors aim to prove that Lamora was responsible for a preventable tragedy. Her fate lies in the hands of the court.
I just came from the jailhouse to let them know to put her on suicide watch because she's going to kill herself.
Lamora Williams' story is one of overwhelming despair, shaped by unresolved trauma, postpartum depression, and a tragic breakdown in both family and systemic support. After the sudden death of her father in 2014, Lamora's mental health deteriorated rapidly. Her partner, Jamil Penn, believing motherhood would be healing, encouraged her to have more children. Instead, she spiraled deeper into depression, ultimately leading to a shocking tragedy. In October 2017, Lamora was accused of killing her two young sons, Jakarta and Kayante, and staging a call to 911 to cover up the crime. Signs of prolonged neglect, head trauma, and disturbing burn marks pointed toward a horrific end that could have been prevented. Despite multiple warnings from Lamora's mother, Brenda, and pleas for intervention from child services, no decisive action was taken. The legal proceedings dragged on for years. Though she was indicted on several charges, including murder and cruelty to children in early 2018, updates on Lamora's case became sparse. Rumors of her being transferred to a psychiatric facility due to incompetency to stand trial circulated, though records remained sealed. She reappeared in court briefly in June 2023, but no trial date or outcome was made public. The emotional toll on the family remains immense. Brenda and Tabitha describe Lamora as a person overtaken by darkness. Jamil, who has since sought therapy, continues to care for their surviving child, Jamil Jr., who still remembers the night with chilling clarity. The children were laid to rest with dignity and love by their community, but their absence left wounds that time has yet to heal.
Daddy, we going back to mama house? I said, we ain't going back to mama house. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no more going back to mama house. You stay with me now.
Jamil Sr. is forever haunted by that fateful night. Every time he closes his eyes, he sees his boys lying still on the kitchen floor, but he refuses to let this tragedy define him as a victim. Instead, he's chosen to become a voice for change. I want everyone to use my story as a helping hand. I lost my two young boys to violence, and I want to be the difference in someone else's life, to prevent another child from being hurt. The story of Lamora Williams sheds light on the complex intersection of mental health, generational trauma, and the failings of social systems meant to protect the most vulnerable. One can't help but wonder, if early intervention had come, if cries for help had been heard, could this tragedy have been prevented? So, what do you think? Who bears responsibility when warning signs are ignored and families fall through the cracks? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. If there's a case you want us to cover, drop it below. And if this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, stay safe, stay kind, and look out for one another.